Starting with approval of the appointment to council committee.
So last week, you discussed new appointments for the committee and has tentatively decided on the appointments. And tonight is just to make them official.
So does everybody have a chance to come over?
Yeah.
Move to approve the council committee appointments as discussed at the workshop meeting and presented in tonight's agenda.
Second.
Just like to thank the clerk for the addition to the agenda format that now includes the members of each committee in the committee listing at the back of the agenda, so that when we have a line fade of who's on which committee when, it's all there. Assuming, of course, they're approved.
Just a note, so Councilmember Putnam, thank you.
Yes, but I didn't expect it to be here tonight. That was kind of
Amy is awesome.
Councilmember Jones, would you like to speak?
No further comment.
Any further comments from council? Further comments from the audience? Seeing none, all those in favor of the council appointment, committee appointments as presented, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Next item on the agenda, resolution number 2014-158, authorizing the submission of community development block grant.
Good evening. I would like to request the authorization of, resolution 2014-158 for the King County grant application to be submitted and accepted, and I'm sure that will be.
So could you elaborate a little bit on what the funding is?
It is for the funding would be for the senior center, their roof, the senior gym roof, the awnings that also connect our building. I guess it has been bumped up to $60,000 that we are requesting for the grant. Jim Morgan's been working on it. Some things, we had to have an environmental specialist come in and look at some things from what I understand, so it went up a little bit.
So then the matching funds would change. If it went up to $60,000, the matching fund would be $6,000?
He didn't say it was 10%. He said that whatever we could get, like if we got the, like if Ken could do the inspections and the permits, that type of thing, we could put that towards the grant. Jim did not say, Jim Morgan said that it was not a 10% grant.
Okay. Just the matching fund would be
Yes.
$5,000. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Council's pleasure.
Move to approve resolution 2014-158.
Second.
Councilmember Jones, would you like to speak on?
Yes, considering the conditions and the issues with the roof and gutters and drain spouts on those, the senior center and the community center, I think those are needed repairs to eliminate ongoing problems with, as well as replacement of the carpet and things like that. So I think it's a beneficial grant, use of our city money.
I think it's really important that this gets done before it gets any worse. I know that there's things going on under the senior center, and I think we need to move forward with it.
Councilmember Sykes.
Was there any evaluation done on the roof on the gym?
Ken, did you go into the evaluation?
Yeah, Jim and I both looked at the roof on the gym, and it wasn't replaced when this one was done. And so the determination was because of the age, we might have another 2 to 3 years out of that without any issues, but it would be, because of the amount that the minimum amount we could apply for, it was just figured that it would be good timing to do it. Just tie it in with the
Because that one's been replaced about, I'd say, it's less than 20 years.
Yeah, it's probably got another, like I said, 2 or 3 years left in it.
Any other questions for Council? Questions from the audience? Okay. Seeing none, roll call of council.
Councilmember Jones?
Aye.
Councilmember Cave?
Aye.
Councilmember Knutson?
Aye.
Councilmember Putnam?
Aye.
Councilmember Stager?
Right.
Councilmember Garberty?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda, resolution 2014-159.
I would like to request authorization for this resolution 2014-159 for a summer youth, lunch worker to help with Joanne for the summer youth program for the lunches that they serve. It would be, for 2 months, from June 30th to August 22nd, for 4 hours a day, so it would be 20 hours a week at $12 an hour.
Move to approve resolution number 2014-159.
Second.
Councilmember Jones?
One of the things I was looking for in here is, do we know how many people that are served during this lunchtime period?
I don't have it on the numbers that Joanne has in the packet for today, but I have those numbers with the grant. So those numbers might be on the grant forms that have been submitted in your packet. If not, I do have them in my office.
I'm just curious.
I believe it's almost up for last summer.
No.
No, for the whole first summer.
For the 2 months. So, Councilmember Knutson, yes.
I know there's a lot of kids that are on free and reduced lunch, and when school's out, that's a meal that they might miss, and so helping the community to provide lunches for kids that might otherwise be without it is important.
Any other comments from Councilmember Garber?
I spoke with Joanne about this last week, and she said on average they serve between 40 and 90 lunches per day, and as the summer progresses and the word gets out, it's not just here, it's Algona as well, and this is, she says, very highly likely that this is the only meal that a lot of those kids get in a day, so it's very important to hold to it.
Any other comments from Councilmember Stager?
You say the Teamsters understanding, so it's not a union.
It is not a union position.
All right.
No. Any other questions from council? Questions from the audience? Okay, seeing none, roll call council.
Councilmember Cave?
Aye.
Councilmember Knutson?
Aye.
Councilmember Putnam?
Aye.
Councilmember Stager?
Right.
Councilmember Garberty?
Aye.
Councilmember Jones?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So the next item on the agenda is resolution 2014-163. That is the grant accepting the emergency management performance grant in the amount of $12,637. And we Sergeant Boss was here to speak on that tonight, and Chief Hawkins is out of town. I know it was presented to us at council. Is council comfortable moving forward with this without further staff report?
I'd move we approve it, right?
Are we okay with that? Okay. So, Putnam first. Made the motion.
Is that a motion?
That's a motion.
That was,
Okay, all right.
Okay, Councilmember Putnam, would you like to speak to your motion?
It's a grant we've been awarded. It's good money to get some useful repairs done on the building, some upgrades we need, so we spent some money to get the work done.
Councilmember Knutson.
Saving money. Yeah.
Any other comments from Councilmember Jones?
If I recall correctly, it's just related to the gating and fencing of the back property, so for security purposes of not only the building, but stored properties and evidence.
Vehicles.
Yeah.
Any other comments from council? Comments from the audience? Okay, seeing none, roll call of council, please.
Councilmember Knutson?
Aye.
Councilmember Putnam?
Aye.
Councilmember Stager?
Aye.
Councilmember Garberty?
Aye.
Councilmember Jones?
Aye.
Councilmember Cave?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is resolution 2014-156. Like you, Richard.
resolution came up as a result of a discussion I had with our attorney Carol Morris and discussing how we could help in extraordinary situations such as foreclosures when we have a lot of late fees. We know there's a mess to be cleaned up in our accounts receivable, which you all saw. And so this is the resolution that she came up with, and having read through it, I think the key to understand is very limited circumstances. I, for one, would like to keep it to mostly keeping houses from being empty, the foreclosures and the like, but it's really up, and it's something that I would have to report to council, and I would work with Leanne or the mayor on making sure that we stay within a certain limited scope, because I do not want this to be if somebody is late 2 months and they need help to get, through it. That's not what the purpose of, or the intent of this resolution is. So, because I know it puts some responsibility on me, but I think it's important to have the flexibility to help the city to maintain full houses, and also to clean up the mess of all the late fees we have from the prior years, administration and whatnot. So that's kind of where we're coming from on this. Is there any questions anybody about?
One question is, have we talked to the city attorney in relationship to any kind of payment plan being a funding from the city?
Okay, yeah, it's not a gift funding as long as you do not include charges for service. So you can't include any utility charges. It only can include late interest fees. We don't have any interest fees in the city right now. So the only fees we can consider are late. In most cases, those are extremely small, except for the 30 we showed you or so, which won't happen again. So once we whittle those down, this will be a very rare occurrence indeed.
Second question is, I know we're dealing with existing properties where people are present in the property, but where the houses have been abandoned and they're late, are we looking at pulling the water meter out of them so that, one, people can't use the house illegally and use the water, generate a water bill or anything like that?
We're doing research into that between Public Works and myself to find out the true cost of that. We would have to amend one of our other ordinances, the one we have in here, remission of charges, to include that. So we're going to bring that forward in June, run it by the attorney to make sure that's okay, because I think they go hand in hand. Once this passes, then you move on to that, so you can pull out, the infrastructure so that we don't get billed by the county. Because the county is inflexible; they're not going to not bill us if it's not there.
I'm in favor of getting these houses occupied. I've already made myself very visible on that. But I want to make sure that we're not setting precedents either, that kind of automatically everybody comes in and gets the waiver. So we need to make sure that the attorneys, I'm not an attorney, but I know if I heard that the guy down the street got all of his penalties waived because I was selling my house and I got a buyer for mine, I'd be right on your doorstep with my buyer and say, hey, I want the mother-in-law deal.
Right. And that is a concern, and that's why we would be a case by case, and I would work with Leanne and we report to the council, and if the council didn't like the direction it went in, they could always change it back. So we're not going to abuse this. We want to make sure it's for the benefit of the city and the neighborhoods before we even consider it. It has to be an extraordinary circumstance, and there has to be some hardships involved.
That was part of the conversation that Richard and I had before we even looked at this. It's the council's concern always in the past has been setting a precedent about these types of things and moving them forward. As a council member, that was always a huge concern of mine, and it was only in the extreme cases, that give him some latitude to be able to move forward, but it's still going to be very rare that I think we use this.
I have an idea that, is there a way that we could say a period of time that we could say, okay, all utility penalties are waived if the past due figure is taken care of, kind of like they did, the president did with the IRS, and gave a break if you paid up, they waive the penalties and everything on your, and the 2 years back, the county did this on your taxes. They give the people an incentive to pay up. They're better off to get the dollar owed in your pocket and then not get the total thing that just because you're holding out for the interest. So it's, I'm kind of throwing it out here for some consideration and maybe for some kind of enticement for people maybe to buy these houses.
So, and I think that's one of the things that, like Richard was talking about, case by case, we would have to look at each one individually.
Well, and the city would make out of this because the only way that they're gonna get late fees waived is if they pay all of the current existing utility bills, liens. So it's not gonna be they're gonna get a free pass and get a $2,000, bill waived. They're gonna have to pay just about as much as they get waived, if not more. So, yeah.
We won't waive any that's in need.
Right, again.
Councilmember Case.
Yeah, the one concern that I had with some of the people coming in and asking, and one gentleman in particular, there's going to be more with the foreclosures, are the people that are buying these houses either should know that the lien's there and that this bill's there, do know or should know, and they're just trying to get it knocked off. They bought these as an investment, and some of them are converting them to rentals or income properties, and then they're asking for us to cut them some slack because they were accrued prior to, but as part of the sale process is to research the deed and the title search. And I have a feeling that that's the kind of work that does get done, but they just come down and say, hey, can you guys work with me on this? And I don't think that those should be waived.
Right, and that's where it goes back to, we won't waive any liens. And so if there's a lien on the property, they are responsible for that lien.
And also late fees as well, like the one you're talking about, I know it's one you're mentioning, and even though it's not his fault, it's also, they should have done their due diligence, like you said, they have a tenant in the house, and we might be willing to work with them on a plan to pay it back, but not to waive it.
Right.
That will give us that flexibility to do that.
That's why I don't want to, I know what Clint's talking about is an amnesty to you. If you come in and settle up, you'll have the late fees, stuff waived. But at the same time, the reason they're not paying, they're probably not going to settle up all at once. The only ones that are the people that are the investment issues, and they're the ones that should be paying.
On the same line, when documenting extraordinary circumstances, I'd like us to make sure that these people don't have recourse elsewhere, such as due diligence missed something, then they should have a title insurance claim for it.
Agreed. And we do have, that's the one we do have on that one gentleman who came forward to the company actually, and he's currently looking into that because I told him that we're inflexible on this area, and you need to, check it out with them and get you going that way. But yeah, that's not a hardship, that's just somebody asking for something, and, it's not city's, business.
It could be a hardship if he didn't know to ask for it.
Right.
But if it got to the point that it was foreclosure because he didn't have coverage, that would be different than if he simply hadn't asked.
Right.
Any other questions? Council President?
Move to approve resolution 2014-156.
Second.
Here's the case. Councilmember Jones?
I think we've discussed it quite a bit here and last week. I do think this should move forward with caution. I think that will happen. And it may be beneficial working with the city attorney to make sure that things that are subjective are ironed out. Because that's the last thing you want is have a subjective decision, because that'll turn around and bite you.
And I agree with the principle of this ordinance, which is why I support it, but at the same time, I want to make sure we have a plan in place to prevent these bills from getting bigger. So once the lien is placed, the meter's pulled, and we don't continue to accrue these exorbitant fees.
Any other comments from council? Comments from the audience? Okay, seeing none, roll call council.
Councilmember Putnam,
Aye.
Councilmember Steiger,
Right.
Councilmember Gerberding,
Aye.
Councilmember Jones,
Aye.
Councilmember Cave,
Aye.
Councilmember Knutson.